Okay, just a little for your information. There are a couple of videos on the economics channel, so I'll leave a link below in case you want to see those. And so now on to the regular video performance. Such. Alright, response video. Not really response, reaction video we'll call it. And the Condivad. This Room 101 thing. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. I thought maybe he was going to go somewhere better with the subject instead of the same old tripe. So now he's making the argument that people so love life that they would tolerate all manner of torture, and the torturers would be totally frustrated because they couldn't make love-lifers talk. Yeah, it's just pathetic. It's such an insult. Well, anyway, I don't want to get on the subject of torture, but there's absolutely no proof of this crap that torture doesn't work and all that kind of shit. Of course it works. It's every time it's been used, it's worked. You're not going to find, if you go looking through history to go find yourself somebody who survived the torture and never talked, even the whole idea of what kind of information you would have, I think, is a much more interesting question. What are you being tortured for? So let's say you're being tortured to coerce you to give up something. To preserve or save something of real, like it's critical. The war, the victory in the war, or the men on your ship. So you're not going to give away the location of your ship. You don't want your shipmates to be killed. There's lots of different, degrees of how important the information is. You're not going to have to torture me very much to get me to tell you my name, and then, all you have to do is, if you have the address of my sister and, my nieces, you could just say, yeah, well, we're going to, rape and pillage them. If you don't talk, that's going to change the game right there. I mean, they don't need to torture me. They just need to threaten me, extort me. And the only people you have to extort with physical violence are people you don't have anything else on. But if you have something else on them, if you have something else to get to them with, it's going to be rough. I mean, really, would it take that? Would it be that hard? Okay, they find out I live in Inmendham, and then they show me the pictures of people in Inmendham and say, these are the people we're going to kill brutally and horribly. If you don't do what we are requiring of you. But this whole idea of that you love life so much while you're being tortured that you just endure it, seems almost... it seems laughable in a sense. Well, first let's just get rid of this idiotic notion that torturers run out of means to torture somebody. I mean, there's about 50 million different kinds of poo, animal poo, you could shove in somebody's mouth or up their nose. So I mean, just shoving poo in their mouth and nose, you've got lots of you've got hours of work right there. And when you think of the preposterous number of acids you could be dripping on different parts of somebody's body, I mean, just a little bit of acid on the kneecaps, in 2 or 3 hours as it starts eating its way through the bones of your knee. Whatever. I'm just saying, this idea that the torturers are all frustrated because they don't know how else to hurt the person, it's just laughable. I mean, it's just, but this is, his videos are just comic strips, so, it's all fantasy film genre of reality. Yeah, when you get shot 50 times, just keep on going and get to the magic, save the world button, because the bullets never hit you in any important places, because you're the superhero. It's not real. Real life is you get in your heroic pose. They shoot the gun. The 45 caliber bullet goes through your fucking head and blows the back of your skull off. And you're John F. Kennedy spilled all over the fucking car. All right, there's no profile. Yes, courageous, big deal. Okay, when you're splattered all over the car seat, all that crap isn't going to mean anything. So anyway, this is just such a superficial treatment of something profoundly, profoundly meaningful about what, what psychology runs through us first, what we care about and why we care about it, which is the important. Why would you love anything in the first place? and wouldn't hate be the stronger emotion? Wouldn't a good visceral hatred give you more strength than love? Certainly, I think it works, generally speaking, in most circumstances where this has really been tested. That people really going into the contest, really going into the arena where they're going to feel the pain, they usually go into those arenas with a good ball of hate. Hate blocks pain better than love, because love leads you to things, leads you to thoughts of dignity and beauty. And as you're in the middle of some very ugly circumstance, it might become apparent to you that why would I love a life where I'm existing with people capable of doing this? Instead of making love, we're making horror and suffering. Would I really want to preserve anything about that? If this is what they have to resort to, if this is what they will resort to, haven't you already lost? Theoretically. So I think the only kind of, the things that would give you real resistance in terms of, resolving yourself to a circumstance and knowing that it will do no good. So if you could believe inside your head that if you talk it would make no difference to your welfare, that you're still going to be tortured, whether no matter what their promises are, that might be one mechanism. Another mechanism might be the realization that if you talk, the people you're protecting, would end up being tortured twice as much as you, kind of thing. Like, instead of just you being tortured, a bunch of other people will be tortured. And so that might be an easy way to understand, okay, talking will just make this torture longer, because it'll just change the person who's getting tortured. But if you could believe that they were going to get killed quickly, then you might rationalize and say, well, this torture isn't worth preventing a quick death. So there's all kinds of value equations that would bounce around in your head in terms of what it's worth. I would be just curious. Let's say there was a circumstance where, to a procreator, I would say a life lover, one of these life lovers, let's say I am the power. You will forever lose the right to procreate. You will never be able to You'll never be able to instill your life-loving passion in a new human being if you don't torture me. If you don't torture some information where I have the sterilization bomb. So you have to get the sterilization bomb, or nobody will ever be able to procreate themselves a new life lover. Okay, would you torture me to get it? So you could save your right to impose, to project your silly notions of accomplishment and purpose into somebody else's existence. Yeah. So would you torture me to do that? To preserve your right to impose? Just curious. So anyway, I'll play the end of this video. This really was hilarious. I'm not saying that most people endure torture because they love life. What I'm saying is it's 0.000000000000001% of the people who have been tortured endured the worst of torture because they loved life. I think it's just silly mush.
The torture, because they believe on a cost-benefit analysis, the torture they are enduring is not sufficient for them to abandon that which they love, which is being.
Right, so they love being so much that, I mean, do you really think that when you're in the middle of having your kneecaps dissolved by acid, that you're really going to be sitting there saying, I love being? No. It might happen if somebody loves Jesus. Yeah, but it isn't going to be because they love being. Sorry, that just... Sorry. I mean, you know, it'd be really fun if we do the experiment, huh? And find one of these love beingers and see how long they last.
I'm not saying that this is true in all cases of people.
I'm not saying this is true of all cases of people. Isn't that amazing? I'm not saying it's true of all cases. It's not even even a majority of cases, let alone all cases. And the minority is so minuscule that it's, you know, not even something worthy of note. It's 10 to the minus 33. It's like close to the Planck constant. It's such a minuscule number of people.
Being subjected to tortures, that's just a thought experiment that I grabbed out of my favorite author, George Orwell.
Right, you grab everything out of your favorite fantasy film. Yeah, okay, great. I mean, not that I love movies, I love the storytelling, but they're stories. Okay, people don't get shot 33 times and none of the bullets hit anything important, and they get to stand up and get back on the horse and charge and all that. No, that isn't reality.
We can't rule that out, though.
We can't rule out that all people who are tortured love life. Oh, okay. Is that it? Is that it?
Being.
Here we go. Being.
Simple existence. Does it have value? I believe it does.
Yeah, well, I believe you're a silly, deluded fuckwit. Yeah, well, that's what I believe. I believe you're just so lost in your pretend fantasy life, the video game you're playing, that you have no clue what reality is. No clue at all. I mean, really, it's just really disgusting. Yeah, go to the nursing home and see all the people who are loving the being. They're all zenning in their being. Yeah. Oh, this really is a bug planet. A bug planet. It's a bug planet. Bugs. And the bugs aren't like these kind of fun bugs. They're little sadistic, torturing bugs, silly, idiotic bugs. They're not comical bugs. Suck. Suck bugs. Suck bugs. So anyway. But I tried, right? The last video was, you know, polite and engaging. I left a link on his video, and he left some kind of comment like, whatever, or some kind of stupid thing like that. And, yeah, and obviously the subject just didn't go anywhere. It went into another excuse to say being is so significant that if we all got tortured for it, it would still kick ass. Still be all worth it. So even if we all got tortured and had our kneecaps dissolved with acid, it would still be worth it because we were being. I mean, there's just no low these people will not go to. Shit. So it's like the God story, right? Okay, God, all right, Eve committed the sin of the apple thing, so I will give her intense, you know, uterus and vagina pain in popping out the next generation as a curse for all time. All women will be plagued with blights and pestilences as a price to pay. And so even God believed that torture was somehow worked, right? He believed it was, yeah, I'll impose pain, and that'll force them to do the right thing, and, you know, tell me what I want to know, which is you love me. But this is just right. Where are we going with this? How low will you go? Oh, there's no low you won't go to. Oh, I see. So yes, if we actually became bugs, this guy would be, yeah, being is great. Now, it's humiliating, degrading, depressing, disappointing. The horror. The horror.